onto my lap. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be basically me telling you how I got a job and how I'm juggling my job alongside my schoolwork and social life. So without further ado, let's get on to the video. I did that one-handed and I'm pretty proud of myself. One take, one-handed, let's do this. So I got my job back in July, and if you didn't know, if you're new to my channel, I work at Woolworths, and basically my job is on the checkouts. I will normally serve people either on the express, which is like 15 items max, or the normal checkouts, which is where people do big grocery shops. Sometimes I'll be on the self-checkout, so that's always that person standing there making sure everyone's okay, and if someone double scans an item, they go over and fix it. So that's basically my job overview. Normally I get 2 to 3 shifts a week, and the main one is on Sundays, so that is really good because Sundays for me is my pay plus half of my pay, if that makes sense. The reason I wanted to get a job is I am 15 this year and I wanted to start earning my own money, because it's getting to the point now when I go out I'm always asking my parents for money, and I feel really bad because that money could be going into things like our house or groceries or bills or school bills, if that makes any sense, or if you understand where I'm coming from. So I thought the best way to do that was get a job, which is what I did. And ever since getting a job, I feel so much better because I'm earning my own money and I'm able to pay for my own things. So for example, recently I bought my MacBook and my parents and I paid half for it. I have paid back my half fully, and then also I'm going to a concert in November, and for that concert it was, the ticket, because it was so close to the front, was $200, which is pretty expensive, but I thought I don't know when I'm going to be able to go to a concert again, so I thought I'll take this opportunity. The tickets we paid half, but half of it's for Christmas, so like that goes towards my Christmas present as well as my MacBook, so I'm not getting any Christmas present from my parents this year, which I'm happy about because I'm happy to go to a concert and get a laptop. Like, that's insane. And so I'm just about to pay off my concert ticket. So getting a job was actually a longer process than I expected, but obviously this was my first time getting a job, so you know, you assume but then you find out the reality. So I started applying for jobs back last year in around November, and I thought this was the perfect time to do it because around November, December it gets really busy because it's coming to Christmas season, and so you can see most stores need extra employees. So I did apply to many places, but unfortunately no one came back to me, so I sort of gave up hope because technically I wasn't 14 and 9 months yet anyway, and that's the legal age in Australia and New South Wales. So then at the start of this year I continued looking, just continued putting my resume into places. I didn't get anywhere, unfortunately, so I sort of like forgot about it. And then I came home one day and Mum said, hey, have you seen this email from Woolworths? It was like a job inquiry at the place I work, and I was like, oh no, and she's like, are you gonna try out for it? And I was like, I don't know, because I sort of given up hope. So I just put in my application. I was like, yeah, you know what, let's have a go. And they came back to me and they asked, they're like, congratulations, you've gotten to the next round, blah blah blah. So it was basically a 4-step process, I believe, and I think the second step was to talk on the phone with someone about some things, about some questions, and basically some of the days I could work. I think that's what it was, I can't remember for sure, so don't hold me to it. And then they got back to me again and said, yep, you've gotten through it. And I was like, cool. So then I had to take a quiz, and this quiz was like a mind testing game. It was like a question, and to be like, I strongly disagree, I disagree, or yeah, or I agree, or I strongly agree, if that makes sense. So I filled that out and I sent it off to them, and at this point I was really nervous because I know I was getting to the point of interviews. So when they got back to me and said I got through to the interview, I was so happy because I was like, yes, I'm actually getting somewhere. But then I was also really nervous for an interview because this would be my first interview. So we figured out when the interview was going to happen, and I went there after school and I sat down with the manager of the store, and we had a full thorough chat, and he talked to me about school, about any after school activities I do, any volunteering, so on and so forth, and why I'd love to have a job and so on. I have only had one manager obviously in my lifetime so far, but he's such a great manager because he cared about schoolwork. So he was more like, I'm not going to give you too many shifts and I'm not going to make you work so many hours because your schoolwork is your priority at this age. But he said he was very happy with my interview and how I answered the questions, and how when he figured out how odd I was, he's like, wow, you know, the way you spoke to me today, you're very mature for your age. So he was very happy, and I was very happy with how the interview went. I thought I'd stumble, but I didn't, and I was like, yes, Sarah, you've got this. So then I asked him at the end, because he said, do you have any questions for me? Will I find out if I've gotten the job and all that? And I know to some of you that would sound like a really, not selfish, but like a pushy question. But in all honesty, if you ask them, they do deliver, because they understand you're curious to know if you've got the job or not. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to tell you anyway, hopefully end of this week or next week. He delivered, and it was great news when I found out I got the job. After receiving news that I got the job, I went to a training day. So when I got there, we went through the cash register, how to use it, what to do, and then we did like a practice run with some items, and then we were put on the express lanes. There was 3 of us, and so we got put on the express lanes and we served some customers, and they were very nice. They understood what we were doing, and so I was very happy with how I was doing, and that the customers was happy with my service. Training, if that didn't make any sense, the training only lasted for probably a good 20 minutes out of the shift. So we did get paid that day because it was a 3-hour shift / training. So then towards the end of the shift, they put me on the normal checkouts, which I was a bit scared, but I wasn't at the same time because it was late at night, so there weren't many people doing shopping, and if they were, it was only small amounts, but I did okay. So that's the process on how I got the job and what I did on my first day basically. And now I'm going to get on to the part of the video on how I basically juggle school, social life and work. So Woolworths has a website where it sets up rosters, and I always look at them, even though they're like 2 weeks ahead, just to make sure I know the days I'm working, and if they don't fit into my schedule, I will move them around. I find this super duper helpful because then I can plan out my week around my shifts or move my shifts so that they fit into my week. For example, a couple of weeks ago when I had my exams, one of my shifts came the day before one of my exams. Now normally the day before one of my exams I will be going through stuff, and then in the morning I'll wake up earlier to just go through more stuff so I feel comfortable for my exam. So I was not comfortable with working instead of studying, so I just pushed it into another day, and they were happy with that. So I felt really bad for pushing it because then they had to find someone else, but don't feel bad because they have been in your situation or are in your situation too, and they understand that education is important and jobs come second. My tip there is to not be scared to push a shift backwards or tell them that I can't accept this shift. That is my number 1 tip when you have a job. My second tip is to plan. Organize your week, because if you don't, you're going to get stressed. So for example, when it's exam season, I will sit down on Sunday night and I'll plan out my week. So I'll be like, right, I've got work this period of time, I'll get 2 hours studying after work, and then I've got this social thing on this week at this time, I'll have study before and after it. Because if you do that, you'll feel more comfortable and you'll be able to sleep at night, because I know if I don't do that, I don't sleep at night because I've got all these events going on in my head and it just stresses me out. What goes with my social life is my YouTube work. So it's not technically my work, it's more of my hobby. And so that means I have work, social life, school, and YouTube. That might seem like a lot, but I do pretty well managing it in my opinion. So obviously I upload on a Thursday and a Sunday, which means I have to balance that aside school and work. My number 1 thing that I always remind myself is that if I don't have a video ready for Thursday, then I don't have a video ready for Thursday. Because although I love YouTube and love creating content for you guys, my priority is my education. So, you know, if I don't get a video up that week, then that's okay. There's always next week and the week after. But this exam comes around once and I don't have a second chance to do it again, if that makes sense to you all. So yeah, that's how my YouTube side works. But my outlook on this whole circle of events is to not stress yourself out. If you have a really busy schedule, do not add work into it. Because if you add work into it, you're just going to be at work and you're going to be stressing. Yes, there are positives, like you're earning money, you're learning new skills, but the most important thing is that you're enjoying your life, it's not too crowded, and you're happy and content with what you're creating academically and sport and socially, because that is life. Life is full of happiness, sadness, every other emotion you can think of. I think I'm going off topic, but that's okay. We're all human. All I'm saying is if you're not ready for a job, don't get a job. If you're ready for a job, this is what you need to do, because if you don't, then your life's going to get chaotic and you're going to get stressed, and stress is not the key to life. Stress shouldn't even exist in your life, or should be limited as possible. My work experience so far has been pretty good. I haven't gotten stressed at any point because I have scheduled my work around my school. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all in my next video very, very soon. Bye guys.
She sees him walking in